I'm going to show you how to use Instagram stories to grow your Instagram account and 5 simple tips that are going to make creating content for your stories so easy and so fun. If you can't already tell, I love Instagram stories and I can't wait to share these tips with you. So let's dive in. If you are not using Instagram stories, you are missing out on a huge opportunity to connect with your ideal person and grow your account more quickly. If you didn't know already, all of the features on Instagram, like your feed posts, reels, IGTV, stories, they all have their own separate algorithms, which means each of those different features has the potential to help you reach people that you might not reach if you just focus on creating content for, say, your feed. One of my favorite creators on Instagram, this is Virginia Kerr, describes all the different features on Instagram like they're your own separate TV channels. So where your feed post might be your more polished and professional channel, your Instagram stories are like a reality TV show. They're the place that you can be more relaxed and natural, and they really are the best place for you to connect with your ideal person on so many different levels. But there is definitely a right and a wrong way to do Instagram stories. So let's start with the right way, what you should be doing. The first thing that you should be doing is jumping on stories every single day. And that is because, like I said, that is a whole separate algorithm that you can access to help grow your account. Plus, when you open up your Instagram home screen, stories are right there at the top. They are one of the very first things that people see, which leads straight into my second point, which is to post stories morning, noon, and night. And I don't mean that you have to post a bunch of stories. You could just post one thing, but the reason why you want to post throughout the day is to keep your stories at the front of the stories line. So when someone watches all of your stories all the way through, your stories icon goes to the back of the line. But as soon as you post something new to your stories that your people haven't seen, your little stories icon will move back to the front. And if it's there in front of people, most people will likely press on it and watch. And if people are continually watching your stories, they're engaging with your stories, it's sending signals to the algorithm that people like your account, and there is more chance the algorithm will push you out to similar people who might also like your content too. The third thing you want to do is mix up the media that you are using in your stories. So don't just post a static image, or don't just do all talking heads. Just like Instagram wants you to use all its different features like Reels, IGTV, Stories, it wants you to use all of the features inside of the features, because all those features are there for you to create more engaging content. And when your content is more engaging, it makes people happy, it keeps them on the platform longer. Well, that keeps Instagram happy too. So if you're just posting a static image, add some music or some text. Add a layer of design with some GIFs, jazz it up a bit. And on the topic of features, tip number 4 is to use an engagement sticker in your stories every day, because this is really one of the best ways to get engagement in your stories, because they're fun and they're easy for people to engage with. The best ones to use are the polls or the little slider sticker, because all people have to do is press on an option or use the slider bar. If you use the ask a question sticker, then expect to have less engagement, but those ones really are still important to do for yourself, for your business, to help you get some information that you can use to possibly create some more content around. But I personally limit those to once a week, maybe even once a fortnight. My favorite is the poll sticker, because you can use it to ask something that is really basic, like, are you a dog or a cat person? Or you can use it as a way of leading into a series of stories. So let's say I've got a legs workout on my YouTube channel that I want to promote. Instead of just posting a story that says, new YouTube workout live, go and watch it, what I'll do is I'll start prepping people for that promotion story. So I might use the poll sticker to ask, what are you training today, upper body or lower body? And how people respond doesn't matter. I'm just starting the conversation, and then my next story could be promoting that legs workout. Need a killer legs workout? Try this, with a little link to the YouTube video in the story. And the fifth thing that you absolutely have to do in stories is face to camera. You have to get on and speak. People want to hear your voice. It helps them feel like they know you better. It makes them feel more connected to you and your life and your business. But like anything, too much of one thing is not always a good thing either. There is a very fine balance with talking head stories. Doing none isn't a good thing, but doing too many isn't good either. My general rule of thumb is to keep talking heads to 2 to 3 stories for any one topic. That doesn't mean that you can only do 2 to 3 within 24 hours. You just want to talk on any one topic for 2 to 3 stories at a time, and then mix in some other media in between, doing more talking heads. So now that we know what to do, let's talk about what not to do. And I've already mentioned a few of these, but let's just quickly cover them again. Number 1 is don't be inconsistent and post randomly. You want to be posting consistently in stories every day for the best chance of reaching more people and growing that know, like, and trust factor with your current audience, the people that are already there for you. Number 2, don't just post static images. 15 seconds is a really long time to be staring at an image that has nothing on it. And people will click through to the next story, which is going to limit the amount of engagement you're getting on that story. So use the features that you have available to make it a little bit more interesting and to help tell a story. Using text is a really good option, but again, too much text can be bad too, which leads me into the third thing you don't want to do, and that is to put too much text on one story. 15 seconds might be a really long time to stare at a blank image, but 15 seconds is really quick when it comes to reading text. So don't put big chunks of text on your stories. Don't use small font. Instead, you want to break up your text into small, easy to digest chunks, and then use either the first or the last 2 fonts because they are the biggest and they are the easiest to read. And if you can't fit everything that you want to say onto one story, that's okay. Create a story series which instead will actually help your engagement and help you get your messaging across more easily. And while we're on the subject of text, don't forget to use captions or paraphrase what you're saying in talking head stories, because a huge percentage of people are not listening to stories with the sound on. And if you're talking away and the person watching can't read lips, then they're just gonna click through or off of your stories altogether, which again is going to hurt your engagement. And finally, don't just post stuff about your kids or your dogs. Yes, you can and you should put that personal stuff in there, but if you're trying to build a business on Instagram, then your content has to be more about your ideal person than it does about you. Now you know what to do and not do. Here are my 5 tips to help you get more engagement on your stories and that are gonna help making content for stories so much easier. Tip number 1, use an engagement sticker every day. It could be something basic, like I mentioned before, that just brings a little bit of engagement to your stories, or you could use it as part of a story series that ends with you promoting something. Tip number 2, give 1 tip or recommendation every day. And that could be something that's relevant to your niche or something you might even sell, or it could be something completely unrelated, like the tanning cream you use or a book you're reading at the moment. And actually the best thing to do is to mix it up and don't always be recommending just stuff that you sell, or you will come across too salesy and that'll turn people off. You want to be more like a resource for people. Tip number 3 is to show some behind the scenes. And this could be where you infuse a bit more of your personal life into your stories by showing your dogs, or you at the hair salon, or it could be business related, you working with a client, or something that you're working on in your business that day, so that people get more of an insight into who you are and what you like or what it's like to work with you. Tip number 4 is to show some kind of social proof or testimonials in your stories, and that could look like a message from a client with their permission, of course, or comments from your latest video, or a transformation from your program. You want to share these wins so that people can see what it's like to work with you, and that what you do helps people get results. And finally, tip number 5 is to get on and do a face to camera using any one of those tips that I just mentioned. It doesn't have to be long. Like I've already said, 2 to 3 talking head stories is perfect. So you could jump on and quickly recommend a podcast, or you could share a client win, or you could talk about taking your dog to the vet that day. But just get on and do one talking head story every day. Even if you don't really feel comfortable talking on stories, remember that you can practice. You can do a story, watch it straight back. If you don't like it, you can just try it again. You don't have to share it. Just remember, look straight into that camera lens and talk to it like you're talking to a real person. There are so many more tips and tricks for using Instagram stories. So in next week's video, I want to share some of my best tips and tricks for creating really engaging stories. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to get notified when that video comes out. And then while you wait for next week's video, watch this video next to learn exactly how to start your fitness Instagram account the right way. And until next time, guys, take care.